Good evening. You've got more than money. You've got Gene Dickinson, your host, your personal financial advisor. Happy to be with you. Happy to be inside. It's a little chilly out there, probably where you are, although our show is broadcast coast to coast and border to border. So hopefully where you are, it's toasty warm. Right around here in the Northeast, it's a bit chilly. Great to be inside, great to be under the hot lights, great to be serving you. And I say that in all sincerity for two reasons. Number one, it is tremendously satisfying to assist you and answer your questions and meeting your challenges and helping you maybe be just a little more effective on this financial road you find yourself on. And number two, very selfishly, it's because of you that we are the most relevant financial show on television today, without a doubt, boldly stated and absolutely true, because you set the agenda. Everything that we share with you is drawn from your emails. Everything, every topic, every recommendation, every question answered is something that's very important to you, very relevant to you. So how could any other? Oh, goodness, these shows, they put their shows in the cans. They're stale. They're droning on and on. We don't do any of that because you set the agenda, and you do it so doggone well. Now, speaking of setting the agenda and having the opportunity to peek behind the curtain, we talk about peeking behind the curtain a lot on More Than Money. Try to give you a little sense of what goes on not in front of the camera. You're going to have a chance to see exactly what goes on behind the camera, in front of the camera, what Jeff does, what Javi does, what Gene does in a very special event that we're hosting here in Bethlehem on March the 6th. It's an opportunity for you to join us. 2 full hours of both taping 2 shows, meet and greet. Some wine has been suggested, maybe some hors d'oeuvres. That would be great fun. But most importantly, a chance to see how the entire show is put together and have your questions asked and answered live by yours truly. So circle March 6th. If you'd like more details or if you'd like to register, pbs39.org/events is a very, very good start. It gives you a great deal of detail and a great deal of logistics, so you know exactly how this is going to unfold. It's exciting. And hopefully you feel the same way. We hope to pack the studio, make it a raucous crowd. For loyal viewers, you know that on occasion I've gotten snarky, but you haven't yet seen me raucous. I'm not really sure that that's appropriate, but we will certainly find out. So circle your calendar. Let's get right to it. Will you send us the emails? I'll read the email to you, and then I'll give you my very best. Let's start with, gosh, the headline says it all. Gene is not a miracle worker, but some people wish that he were. Thanks for MTM. My wife and I find your show very insightful. I'm writing for your advice about a very unfortunate circumstance regarding our retirement savings. I'm hoping you can lend my wife and I some much needed advice. When I was 40, I left a job of then 16 years for health reasons. While I was with this job, I worked hard. I did very, very well. I had contributed to the 401k diligently. I built up about $200,000 in that 401k at that point when I had to leave. And I found myself in a situation where I ended up liquidating it all. Ouch. The last 2 decades have not been kind to me, and now at 58 years old, I find myself disabled with no savings whatsoever. Ouch. My wife is a daycare teacher and started a 401k just a few years ago. She has managed to save $35,000. Excellent. We own our home that's valued at about $495,000, but that's all we have left to leave to our son as an inheritance. And besides, if we sold it, we couldn't even afford an apartment. Is there anything you can recommend that might allow us, at least for my wife's sake, to have a more financially secure retirement? I realize you are not a miracle worker. Well, the last statement is absolutely true. That is definitely, we work within reality, and these are the kinds of realities that often we don't discuss on air. We are excited often joyous to talk about the success stories, folks who have saved diligently. The number millions perhaps is in there. A house, a vacation home, successful children, everything working exactly as it appears it should. And yet there are situations where it doesn't, and it doesn't unfold well, and it doesn't unfold in what, from all appearances, it doesn't unfold to their benefit. Are there things that can still be done? And the answer is yes, absolutely yes. First of all, it is useful to have a backstory. It is useful to understand how we got where we are. It is not useful to dwell upon it. It is far more useful to me as a financial advisor for you to understand where are you today, not 18 years ago, not 20 years ago. Where are you today, and where do you wish to be? Where are you targeting? What does your financial future appear to be to you? So we have no savings whatsoever. Not true. Your wife, apparently on a quite modest salary, has $35,000 put away, not an insignificant sum of money. You are disabled. That is a challenge without a doubt, but you're on Social Security disability. So there's a certain amount of income that will be coming in come hell or high water for the rest of your life. When your wife is in a position to retire or accept Social Security benefits, that income will will rise a bit. So even though those numbers are likely to be modest, they can still be significant, even if both of them are modest, $1,100, $1,200, $1,300 a month. You may start out with a base that says you've got a $30,000 income, you've got a house with equity, and you've got some savings in a 401k through your wife's employment. So that's kind of our starting point, and shifting our focus a bit away from all the sadnesses and challenges that have brought us to, I'm in a tough spot, to reality. Here's another reality that we have to deal with. I am prayerful that your son, raised well, strong parents, hardworking, and given life lessons along the way, can stand on his own 2 feet. Does he need your inheritance? I pray not. I pray not. Do I as a father, do I understand your urgency, your instinct, your compulsion to leave a legacy, that will be impactful for your son? I understand completely. But I'm asking you to consider that legacies come in many different forms. Dollars, sure. Houses, of course. Memories, events, photographs, videos, letters, lessons, the things that we treasure most. My dad having passed 35 years ago this month, I think about him every single day. In 35 years, I don't think I've thought for even 1 second about an inheritance, about money, about an item. What I have thought about often, daily, 35 years, are the lessons he taught me, the experiences that we shared, the love of baseball, my Little League career, my high school baseball career, all of those things that we experienced together. That's a legacy. Your home is your opportunity to expand your financial security dramatically and to be far more financially independent and far more financially secure, particularly for your wife, than perhaps you have ever thought possible. And if that is the case, I'll circle back to that here in just a moment. If that is the case, that's a wonderful legacy to leave to your son. As opposed to, we barely were able to supply our own needs for decades allowing the home because we have no money to fall in disrepair, allowing ourselves because we have little or no money to fall into disrepair. That's not a legacy. Even if the home goes to the son, it's still not a legacy. It's a negative legacy. You want a positive legacy, look to your home, the equity in your home. At this situation, in this circumstance, you are not yet in a position where you need to draw from the equity in your home. Too young, your wife is still working, apparently still able to pay bills because she's able to pay her bills and save in her 401k. But there will come a time, typically the age is 62, when you will be eligible for a reverse mortgage. And while a reverse mortgage is a financial tool that is absolutely not right for everyone, as a matter of fact, it's not even right for the majority of the people who are watching our show this evening. But for the right person, potentially you, could be life-changing. And when I say could be life-changing, it's because if you are in very round numbers living in a $500,000 home mortgage-free, a reverse mortgage could advance you as much as $250,000 without requiring that you pay it back during your lifetime. So you would go from, we live in our home, we have $35,000 in savings, we have our Social Security, and we have access to either a stream of income generated by the reverse mortgage or a line of credit of about $250,000 that will enhance our ability to pay our bills, enjoy our lives, keep our home maintained, and live a really worthy life for as many years into the future as you possibly can, and build as many experiences with your son as you possibly can to build and leave what is a true legacy. God bless you. We wish you the very best as these things unfold. Circle back to us and ask additional questions. I appreciate your questions. I appreciate your courage in reaching out. And I see good things for you. I see good things for you. For those of you who are watching this evening and going, this is a pretty typical More Than Money show, that means you've seen us before. For those of you who are going, wow, that was pretty intense, it can be. Some of our questions can be very intense. Some of our questions are a bit more lighthearted, of course. But the bottom line for all of you is ask your questions. And the way you do that is by email, Gene, G-E-N-E, at askmtm.com. It works beautifully. They come to me. I disperse them to my team. We have lots of financial advisors who will answer your questions back to you. All questions get answered back. So if you did not get an answer, check your spam filter. That is often the culprit. But bottom line is that we answer all questions back to you, and we select some of those questions. We can't possibly answer all of them on air, but we select some of those to air for you, just as we've selected the next question. Our first question, a little long perhaps. The second question, quite the opposite. My daughter has crossed the line for the last time. I don't want her to receive anything from my estate. Is that possible, and how do I do it? Well, first of all, bless you. There are folks in our audience right now who are reacting with incredulity, going, how could you possibly say that about your daughter? The vast majority of the folks who heard that question have reacted with, it's really sad. Understandable, but really sad. There are thousands of reasons why relationships between parents and children are fractured. We don't know the reasons here, really not important to us. The question becomes, is it possible for a parent to disinherit a child? And the answer is, of course. Of course you may. Are there mechanical approaches that you should take to better ensure that your wishes will be followed? The answer is absolutely yes. That is critical. If you pass without a will, your daughter will inevitably inherit some portion of your estate. It is referred to as dying intestate, intestacy, meaning without a will. And without a will means that the government regulations in the state that you you pass away, your state of residence before you pass, they will determine what percentage of your assets goes to your spouse, if there is one, what goes to your children, if there are any grandchildren, et cetera, et cetera. In many cases, lots of folks die without wills, sadly, really bad idea. These distributions are absolutely in contradiction to what the decedent really wished. So in your case, pretty straightforward. I don't want my daughter to have anything. If you die intestate, she will. That's not a good idea. So your very first mechanical action, your very first action must be to sit with a trusted, experienced estate planning attorney. You have got to draw up your documents properly, airtight, and professionally constructed, so that your wishes are delineated very clearly. It is not an oversight. You didn't forget. You have not lost your mind. You have not lost your cognitive abilities. You are making an absolutely clear decision that you do not wish her to receive anything from your estate. Some folks have suggested over the years that leaving her $1 is better, because it acknowledges that you know she exists and that she that is your choice of how much that she should receive. That's certainly an option that you would discuss with your attorney. Another option that is often explored is a clause in the estate that says if anyone challenges the execution of the estate, that they are disinherited. So if your daughter, having heard, seen, been told that she is out of the will, decides to sue, now she's doubly out of the will, if that's even possible. I'm sure there are legal scholars out there right now spinning in their graves, which is particularly uncomfortable for the ones who haven't passed away yet. But bottom line is they're saying, that's not exactly how it works. I get that, but you get my point. You are protecting the estate against her in a number of different ways. So absolutely, trusted, experienced estate planning attorney is mandatory if you have a prayer of getting this done. Following the professional guidelines and recommendations of that attorney in terms of mentioning, identifying the individual who is to receive little or nothing, and then creating the documents that will execute in that way, you are likely to then be successful. Successful is a dreadful word in this case. Obviously, you're not happy. She can't be happy. The results are perhaps inevitable, but sad nonetheless. And then we can be prayerful. Once you've done that, keeping in mind that estate planning documents are not forever documents. You might set that up now and then find out at some point in the future that those bridges have been mended and you can go back and change your estate planning documents. I pray for that. Next up, these are good questions. Father, daughter, and the IRS, a tale as old as time. I made that last part up. It's just poetic. Gentleman says, I'm a shareholder in a company that is being sold. Outstanding. I was one of the founders, and when the shares were issued, they were put in my name with my daughter's name as well. I am 89 years old. Fantastic. Triple H Club, happy, healthy 100. Well on your way. Is it better to have the shares back in my name only so that I pay the income tax, state and federal, and then gift the proceeds to her so that she saves on inheritance tax when I die? Certainly a consideration. However, will I then be paying tax twice, once on the income from the sale and then on the gifts? Or should I not gift her the shares and let her pay the inheritance tax Can you suggest any other scenario? Thanks for your great show. You can see now why we chose this email. When you're that complimentary, you're almost assured of being viewed, aired nationwide. Couple issues here need to be clarified. Let's start with where are we today, and I'm going to use a demonstration set of numbers. These are obviously not in the email, but it's easier to see impacts if you have some numbers to kind of hang your hat on. So let's assume we're selling $200,000 worth of stock. Currently, dad's name, daughter's name. What does that mean effectively? It means that they each own half. So upon the sale, there will be capital gains income taxes expected. Half will be taxed on dad's income tax return. Half, $100,000, will be on the daughter's. Now, so far, let's assume dad's income tax income is very modest, and his capital gains rate is 0 or close to 0. So we'll get $100,000 intact. And let's assume, just for the sake of argument, that the daughter has done extremely well and her income tax bracket calls for a 20% capital gains tax rate. So she will pay $20,000 on her portion. So in this particular set of circumstances, if we do nothing, the effective capital gains tax rate across the two of them would be 10%. A very, very good number. It is highly unlikely, using my numbers, $200,000, that dad could shoulder all of that and pay no capital gains tax. It is also very unlikely that the daughter could sell all of that $200,000, it could be far more, and avoid capital gains tax. So if we do nothing, we might very well find that we are ideally right where we should be. How do we know? Well, there's a couple things. Sitting with a trusted, experienced tax professional or a trusted, experienced financial professional, financial advisor who is very conversant in capital gains taxes, etc. For less than an hour, I would expect, dad's tax return, daughter's tax return, and the amount of the sale of the stock and the cost basis, these are easy calculations to make. These are easy comparisons to make because you would run the numbers one way, as we just described, and then you'd run the numbers a second way, which is daughter gives the stock back to dad, he sells it all, and then you'd run it a third way, dad gives all the stock to the daughter, she sells it all. See which one makes you happiest. Now, one of the things that this gentleman mentions in his email that sticks right out to a financial professional. Would he not be paying taxes twice? Income taxes, in this case capital gains taxes, on the sale of the stock and then on the gift to his daughter? And the answer is no. Under no circumstances will there be a tax on the gift to the daughter. So even if it turns out that what we should do, my numbers, my example, move her stock, $100,000, back to dad. Now he has $200,000 because he's in a very low tax bracket. He pays little or no capital gains tax on that money. So let's assume he has in hand $200,000 and he gifts that to his daughter. How much gift tax will he pay on that gift? Approximately. Estimate. Round numbers. How about 0? 0 is a pretty round number, by the way. You get the point. 0. Currently, under current gift and estate tax laws, dad, even if he is a single taxpayer, if mom does not currently is not currently with us, he still has the ability to gift over $12 million to his daughter. No income tax to her, no income tax to him, no gift tax to him. What an amazing opportunity that really would be. If indeed it works out that he should sell it all himself, fantastic. Pay little or no tax, fantastic. Gift it to his daughter, no gift tax, no income tax to her. And he's quite right. Once the gift has been completed, assuming that all the requirements are met, it's free of Pennsylvania inheritance tax. He mentions he's in the state of Pennsylvania, which at this rate, 4.5%, using my numbers, saves another $9,000. Within less than an hour, a financial professional, particularly a financial professional, in conjunction with a tax professional, a CPA, an EA, etc., would be able to determine these numbers precisely so that dad and daughter, dad's 89, we can guess daughter's in her 60s, can make the best decision for the two of them and do it rather efficiently and rather precisely. So it's simply something to be done in short order. Make sure you contact someone. If you need a referral, let us know, of course. Folks, we've covered a lot of ground. Some very, very interesting questions. This last one, fascinating indeed. Happens more often than you might expect as you look around your community. Some of the, most influential people in your community are the ones who have worked very hard at starting a business and serving clients, serving friends, maybe for generations. He's 89. He could have been doing this for a very, very long time. And now they have the opportunity to harvest some of the fruits of their labors. And they want to do it in the way that, in all honesty, elbows the IRS to the side to the greatest extent humanly possible. And I'm 100% in agreement. Speaking of in agreement, I would love to agree to have you come and visit us on March 6th for a live taping of More Than Money, meet and greet, wine and cheese, lots of great fun. We're going to have a hoot. Raucous has been suggested. I'm not really clear about that, but we'll find out. In the meantime, if you are further afield, perhaps you're one of our PBS affiliates that are watching us across the country, and Bethlehem's a bit of a trip, send us your emails, gene@askmtm.com. Be as specific, as detailed as you wish. We'll make sure that we get an answer back to you ASAP. Folks, thank you so much. You're very, very kind. You do me a great honor to allow me to serve you, hopefully enough so that you'll want to return next week when we're back with another episode of More Than Money.